Welcome to Fox 54 News at 6. I'm Kenesha Dees. Huntsville High School honoring Ellie Anderson tonight. A special celebration after her family's flight went down in Montana last Friday afternoon. The community showing their support with a vigil and GoFundMe for the family and supporting each other while they mourn the loss of one of their own. Now, flight data shows the Piper Aztec aircraft carrying Mark Anderson and his daughters Lainey and Ellie took off from Billings, Montana Friday afternoon heading to Polson. For most of the flight, everything appeared normal with the plane flying above 12,000 feet. But around 4:15 p.m., it made a sudden sharp turn before disappearing from radar. Search teams found the wreckage the next morning in a remote area of the Bob Marshall Wilderness. All three were pronounced dead at the scene. There's been an outpouring of support for the Anderson family after their flight went down 1 week ago today. And tonight's homecoming game is all about remembering Ellie Anderson. She was described by friends and family as a joy to be around, a best friend, and a light. So much so that the Huntsville High School community showed up in thousands for a prayer vigil Saturday night. Now, nearly a week later, they're still remembering Ellie and her family during homecoming. Most school activities were canceled this week, but they plan to honor Ellie at tonight's game. Take a listen.
There's been a lot of mourning, but everyone's been, supporting each other, lifting each other up. We've all been there for each other. It's been really great. Obviously, it's sad, but having a community like this helps tremendously. We're going to take a moment of silence. We're wearing pink because that was our favorite color. And then we got stickers because our other favorite color was yellow. We got stickers that say with a little yellow heart on it for our helmets.
Yeah, so much support while the Huntsville High School community continues to grieve. Many are saying it's important that they all come together for the Anderson family. A sign-up genius has been created where people can volunteer for hour-long prayer shifts covering the Anderson family. There's also a GoFundMe page that's raised close to $200,000. You can find the link to the GoFundMe on FOX54.com. And here's a live look over in Waterloo. You can see that sun beginning to really set there. More of that cloud cover starting to turn dark as the days get shorter. A nice night so far, though. Lots of fall activities happening this evening, including Friday night football. Let's bring in Fox 54 Weather Impact Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman for a look at the forecast.
It's going to be a fantastic evening for Friday night football across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee, though. As you get ready to head out the door for the evening, maybe grab a jacket. I think you're going to find that as we head into the later part of the evening, it's going to become just a touch on the chilly end of the spectrum. I also think you're going to notice a slight increase in cloud cover. Here we are, 62 at 7 o'clock, 57 by 8, 55 degrees by the time we get to 9. As we head into the later part of the evening, temperatures are beginning to fall into the lower 50s, 54 degrees by the time we get to 10 p.m. So again, I think some sort of a jacket, some sort of a sweatshirt, definitely going to be necessary if you're going to be venturing out to your favorite high school football game this evening. As we head into the overnight, temperatures are a little warmer tonight compared to what we've seen over the last couple of nights. We're only going to drop into the mid and upper 40s thanks to the increase in cloud cover across the Tennessee Valley. Now, let's begin to talk about the weekend. We're focused on this area of low pressure here. That area of low pressure is going to bring a lot of rain into the Tennessee Valley, but the entire weekend's not going to be a complete washout, just part of the weekend. We'll talk about that in great detail here in just a few minutes.
We've learned a Priceville police officer at the center of a controversial pursuit case is once again taking legal action against the city. Officer Gary Chapman is challenging a 10-day suspension he received when the city council overturned his termination earlier this month. Chapman was initially fired after September police pursuit ended in a deadly crash that killed Hartselle High School student Tristan Hollis and injured 5 others. His attorney, Scott Morrow, argues the council's decision was, quote, arbitrary and not supported by evidence.
Chapman does not believe that he should have been disciplined at all. So we filed a notice of appeal with the Circuit Court of Morgan County. His suspension started last week, but he'll be back after those 10, 12-hour shift suspensions. And then he'll start getting paid again. And we're going to be asking the Circuit Court to replace those 10, 12-hour shifts and any other benefit he lost as a result of the discipline.
Morrow says the loss of life is priceless, just as the loss of reputation can be. He adds that Chapman plans to seek at least $10 million in damages, but for now, Chapman remains on work probation and must complete retraining before returning to full duty. A Huntsville man will spend the rest of his life behind bars after being convicted of murder. Anthony Shepard was found with multiple gunshot wounds at his home in July of 2020. Investigators say Logan Delp was hired to kill Shepard. to prevent him from regaining custody of his child. The jury deliberated for about 20 minutes before delivering the guilty verdict. 4 more people also face charges. One has pleaded guilty while 3 others are waiting for their own trials. A Decatur man also found guilty of murder today. In 2021, officers responded to reports of a shooting at Decatur Door Services, where they found Frankie Smith with a gunshot wound to the head. Police arrested Spencer Harwell, who was found with a large quantity of meth at his home. Harwell was convicted by a Morgan County jury today. He's scheduled to be sentenced December 16th. A man has been arrested in connection with the stabbing in Limestone County. Yesterday, deputies responded to a 911 call around 2:30 p.m. about a stabbing on the 21,000 block of Yarborough Road in Athens. According to the Limestone County Sheriff's Office, the victim was confronting this man, David Long, about a theft. Long allegedly stabbed the victim and left before being caught by sheriff's deputies. He's behind bars without bond and faces an assault charge, among others. Huntsville police are investigating a shooting near Bronze Spring Park last night. HPD say officers were called around 11:30 to a downtown hotel after a woman's car was hit by gunfire near the 2800 block of Hood Road. The woman not hurt, but officers searched the area and didn't find anything. HPD now investigating, but believe the shooting was an isolated incident. We're learning federal agents say they've now learned a blast that killed 16 people. It was started in a building that held more than 24,000 pounds of explosives. The explosion started on the lower floor of a building that made mining devices, which detonated in seconds. You could see the impact there. That blast shook the ground 60 miles west of Nashville. So far, 14 victims were identified using rapid DNA testing, but 2 remain missing.
It really saddens me that we still have 2 souls that we have not been able to locate at this point. I've talked with both of those families last night and this morning. We still have some testing to do in efforts to get that complete.
It's still unclear what caused the blast, but the company has been fined for safety violations in recent years. The incident remains under investigation. A union representing employees at the Marshall Space Flight Center is filing a lawsuit over collective bargaining rights. An executive order made by President Trump in August excludes NASA and 5 other agencies from federal labor coverage on the grounds of national security. This bars the International Federation of Professional and Technical Engineers from representing more than 6,000 workers, including those at the Marshall Space Flight Center. The lawsuit claims the executive order was issued in retaliation of the union's protected First Amendment activity and criticism of the Trump administration. Election season not quite over yet in Coleman County as voters are expected to head back to the polls Tuesday. Voters will choose between GOP nominee Cindy Myrex and Democratic nominee Matt Glover for the House District 12 seat, which became vacant after former Representative Corey Harbison resigned back in April. You can find polling locations on our website, FOX54.com. We're learning more about a pickup truck that hit a stopped school bus in Boaz Wednesday, sending 5 people to the hospital. Boaz police say the school bus was stopped when the pickup truck slammed into the back of the bus. Just look at that picture there. Well, police say the truck driver was distracted and didn't see the bus had stopped. No one on the bus was injured, but 5 people in the truck were hurt. All the truck's passengers were taken to Marshall Medical Center South. Their current condition unknown. Several liberal Supreme Court justices condemned the state of Alabama for executing Anthony Boyd using nitrogen gas. Boyd was executed last night for the 1993 murder of a man over a $200 drug debt. However, Boyd maintained his innocence, claiming he was at a party during the alleged murder. Justice Sonia Sotomayor says nitrogen gas causes, quote, psychological terror and, quote, excruciating suffocation, saying that people feel themselves suffocating during the several minutes it can take to die. So far, only Alabama and Louisiana use nitrogen execution by lethal injection, and it's becoming more difficult as many pharmaceutical companies refuse to allow their medications to be used for that purpose. A state representative calling for the firing of a correctional officer involved in multiple lawsuits in Jefferson County. Lieutenant Roderick Gatson is the officer involved in the death of inmate Stephen Davis at Donaldson Prison. The state settled an excessive force lawsuit for $250,000 in 2019. though no criminal charges were filed. The call for Gadsden's firing comes amid the release of the HBO documentary, The Alabama Solution, which exposed the conditions and violence inside Alabama's prisons.
We now need to investigate further. It still needs to be definitively established whether they are genuine or not.
A major illegal art ring uncovered days after high-priced jewels were stolen from the Louvre in Paris. A look at the bust up ahead. City of Athens gearing up for Veterans Day and a parade to go with it. Details on how you can sign up.